Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Dayodayamathirahe Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama-shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhaktashaktikam. Reading from Canto 11, Chapter 2, entitled Maharaj Nimi Meets the Nine Yogendras. Text number 44. Sriraj Vacha Atha Bhagavatam Dhrutam Yadharmo yadrisho ninam Yatacharati yadbrute Erlingair Bhagavat Priyam Sri Raja Vacha Atha Bhagavatam Dhrutam Yadharmo yadrisho ninam Yatacharati yadbrute Yairlingair Bhagavat Priya Sri Raj Vacha Ata Bhagavatam Dhrutam Yadharmo yadrisho ninam Yatachariti yadbrute Yairlingair Bhagavat Priya. Kindly repeat. Sri Raja Mataji. Translation purport by disciples of His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Maharaj Nimi said, now please tell me in great detail about the devotees of the Supreme Lord. What are the natural symptoms by which I can distinguish between the most advanced devotees, those on the middle level, and those on the neophytes? What are the typical religious activities of a Vaishnava? And how does he speak? Specifically, please describe those symptoms and characteristics by which Vaishnavas become dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport. The great sage Kavi has informed King Nimi about the general external symptoms of a devotee of the Lord, namely his appearance, his personal qualities and activities. But now King Nimi asks how to make further distinctions among the servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so that the first class, second class, and the lower class Vaishnavas can be clearly identified. According to Srila Rupa Goswami, Krishneti yasya giritam manasa driyeta. One should mentally honor any devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. Upadeshamrita text 5. Any living entity who is faithfully chanting the holy name of Krishna is to be considered a Vaishnava, and at least within the mind, is to be offered respect. But for practical advancement in Krishna consciousness, one should associate with at least with a second-class devotee. And if one can receive the mercy of a first-class devotee of the Lord, one's perfection is very easily guaranteed. Thus, Nimi Maharaj is humbly inquiring, what are the character, behavior, and speech of devotees? The king wants to know the particular symptoms of body, mind, and speech by which the different categories, Uttamadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Kanishtadhikari are clearly identified. In response to the king's inquiry, another of the Navayogandras, namely Hare, will give you a further elaboration of the science of Krishna consciousness. Om Ajnanatimiram Dasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namavom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the devotees. Today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. I seek blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas here, Prabhuji, so that I can speak something for my purification and glorification of the Lord. When I saw this shloka, I remembered the basic definition of what is a Kanishtadhikari. Kanishtadhikari in English is what? Neophyte. What is the meaning of neophyte? Always he picks up newer and newer fights. Neophyte keeps fighting for everything small, big. He keeps fighting, and he finds reasons how. One of the reasons I was just referring, what is the cause of this neophyte mentality in the practicing sadhaka? Though we speak about so much tolerance, every day we speak about Sikshashtakam, how is Taroriva Sahishnuna, Trinadapi Sunichena Taroriva Sahishnuna. Despite that, why this type of mentality is ingrained in the heart of a sadhaka is something which I was thinking about. So I thought I could develop myself from this tendency of just remaining a neophyte and complaining for small things, rather instead of looking at it hand of Krishna. All the time we have some or other complaint. So while analyzing the different this thing, so many references came. So one of it is about how a neophyte, what is his state of emotion? Because if you see this just before this shloka 11.42, it says very interesting about emotions. About I will just Bhakti Pareshanubhava Viraktir Anyatra Chaisa Trika Eka Kala Prapadya Manasya Yatashnata Shus Tushti Pushti Kshuda Apayano Anugasam. Means when somebody is somebody is hungry, unko bhook lag raha hai. So when you eat the food, three things happen. What are they? Tushti means satisfaction. Just like sometimes prashadam gets delayed. Instead of 9:30, they say 10 o'clock. So somebody is waiting. Arey, when will I get, why half an hour delayed? In already 9:30 is delayed, according to myself. But it is 10 o'clock, then it is even more delayed. And half day fasting means even more delayed. So that means once we eat prasad, then we get what? Satisfaction. And then we get nourishment. Pushti means nourishment. Then the third one, what happens? Shuddha apayana, eradication of hunger. So I remember a very nice famous example, I quote again and again, but it's very interesting. When we do serving prasadam, like now Gaur Punma is coming, so many volunteers come for prasadam serving. So what happens is that generally, because we do not know the exact count, how many 1,000, 10,000, 1 lakh, how many people will come, we do not know. The devotee was serving, he was also fasting till evening, Then when he served prasadam, somebody comes for second serving. He says, no, it's not there. Even though in charge told that, give second time if somebody wants. But he feels that I did not take, I'm not sure if I serve, whether I will get it or not. So he always serves little. So one of our in charge has a very nice strategy. What he does, when he calls the devotees for prasadam serving, first he makes the plates of the devotees who are serving. This is your plate, your name is written. So the devotee is satisfied. Then he serves. Aur chahiyega lo. Take more. So this is how a consciousness of a living entity. When it is satisfied, then it is very happy and blissful. But when it is not satisfied, then it becomes very kripana mentality. Always holding, not ready to share. So that's why you see in Bhagavad-gita also, second chapter, we see this text number 52 and 53. See how it says, very interesting translation connected to the neophyte mentality. When your intelligence has passed out of the dense forest of delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is to be heard. This is the 52. That when intelligence is past a dense for a delusion. What is the delusion? Illusion ka bada bhai. Illusion is there, the delusion. And then next shloka says, when your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, and when it remains fixed in the trance of self-realization, then you will have attained the divine consciousness. What is the divine consciousness? Krishna consciousness. When you come out of the delusion, then we can come out above the neophyte mentality of Kanishta Adhikari. So let us understand the root cause of our current state of affairs in a sadhaka life. One of the root cause is that having some kind of dissatisfaction. When a sadhaka is practicing, the best thing can happen is that he chants Hare Krishna in the morning, and he does service, whatever little prasadam is given, is happy and is continuing. But if that is the story, then there is no, not much new thing. But generally what happens, it is observed in the sadhaka life, one of the emotion which enters is a dissatisfaction. When the dissatisfaction comes, then there are two paths. When somebody is dissatisfied, then one is become more delusion, get into all type of we read that shloka in the second chapter, that how a deluded living entity, how it krodhat bhavati sammoha smriti vibhrama buddhi nashat pranashyati, how it can go into the degradation when you get the dissatisfaction causing other way. And the higher path is that when dissatisfaction leads to discrimination and discrimination leads to devotion. These are the two Ds, two sets of Ds. One is the first dissatisfaction comes, then the devotee becomes, or the sadhaka becomes delusion, which causes degradation. The other path is that the same dissatisfaction can be used for discrimination and then leads to devotion. So let us explore what are these different dissatisfaction. So dissatisfaction comes, sometimes we have discomfort. Like earlier classes, they used to put this back. So if suppose this is not there, I feel discomforted. For me to sit like this for half an hour, 1 hour is difficult. So I feel some devotees are sitting on chair, because some may have back pain, they may not sit long time on the ground. So they feel discomforted. And sometimes we feel lonely. Then, like I am giving class to a Juhu ashram, devotees there, so loneliness is not there. There are so many devotees around us, congregation, brahmacharis, so many sannyasis are coming. Then what is the meaning of loneliness? The external loneliness is that you come, there is nobody around, That is loneliness. What is the actual loneliness? Is that when you are not understood, when you come and they want to say something, people are around you are not understanding. Then that is actually unbearable loneliness. That is called existential loneliness. Like Mahaprabhu in the Chaitanya Leela, he comes from whenever you, like, I am giving a positive example, but the thing is that he feels, are you alone? Somebody asked when he was going on the path to Puri, are you alone? Then Mahaprabhu becomes bhav vibhor ho jata. He becomes very emotional and very, Krishna conscious, like tears are falling from his eyes. Because, he felt that, Krishna, he's not with Krishna, he's feeling the separation from Krishna. But that is a positive. But for a sadhaka, the loneliness comes when people around him are not understanding him, he is not able to understood. And someone has a poor health, किसी का health अच्छा नहीं है, किसी का stress ज़्यादा है, सेवा ज़्यादा है, or some people don't have seva, that is also problem, having more seva and not having seva. So let us understand that discomfort happens in everybody's lives. It's not specific to a sadhaka or anyone. It is universal. The discomfort is universal. Then our human being has a automatic response to discomfort. When somebody is discomforted, right, you have an automatic response. Suppose you are in the sun, you feel discomforted, so much straight, summer, it is like 47, 46 degrees. You want to come into the shade, which is a natural response, of the body, that, okay, I am discomforted, I can come down. But in the modern world, currently where we are living, when there is a discomfort, people are choosing mechanisms which are unhealthy. Like if you see outside people, they may choose like alcohol, smoking, and all type of different type of substances. Or like in our sadhaka life, I find some patterns, like how they choose, how when they feel discomfort, what do? Some devotees, they like to eat. When they feel discomfort, they just go and thoda daba ke kha liya, and or some devotees choose to about discomfort, let me just take rest, oh, half day dikhega bhi nahi, he just goes and just somewhere, And third type, sometimes, because of the smartphones, there is endless scrolling, they scroll this, that, they just want to come out of discomfort. So this is the general tendency of sadhakas, where they choose different responses for the discomfort. So actually very nicely it is defined. We can call it the addiction. See, addiction is not that, everything has to be alcohol or a smoking. Addiction could be a very small thing also, like what I just mentioned. Addicted to eating more. You need this much, but I eat this much because I feel that I want to get rid of this discomfort. My in charge is not happy or something has happened. My health is not good. So sometimes some people who are overweight, they want to come out of the weight, but they eat more because their anxiety is that, Hare, I am overweight. They want to come out of this problem of overweight by eating more because that anxiety is there. I am overweight. So that's why it is defined nicely. Addiction is often not lack of intelligence or willpower. मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि उनको दिमाग नहीं है, but lack of healthy response to discomfort. जो neophyte क्या करता है? He gets that discomfort. He chooses an unhealthy response, like this, eating or just wasting time here and there, because he is not able to understand how to handle the discomfort. So that's why we have a philosophy of snowball, like when there is a mountain of snow like Himalayas or anywhere, sometimes when the person is observing the snowball, like sometimes the snowball is very small, like you can just hit with your leg, boot, and then it breaks. But the snowball, when it is coming down the hill, it gains the two things. What is that? Anyone knows? What happens when the snowball is coming from the top high hill, What happens? It gains mass, like it becomes bigger and bigger, and then it gains, second one, momentum. What is it? The speed, the momentum it gains. So initially, that's why Gita is 2.62 and 63 is telling about the snowball effect, actually. Just like dhyayato vishyan pumsa sangasteshu pajayate. that means at the top is like snow pebble. It's like very small. It's like harmless contemplation. When we contemplate, Gita is saying, no, when you little bit contemplate, what is the big deal? I am contemplating something negative or not so good Krishna conscious. That is like a snowball. But when it is rolling down, that is called attachment and delusion. The snowball, what it is getting, the speed and the momentum it is getting is like attachment. The mass is attachment, more and more attachment. And it is getting delusion. Sanga sanjayate kama, kamat krodho bhi jayate. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. That sammoha is the delusion. Sammohat smriti vibhrama. And then smriti bhamshat buddhinashat pranashyati. The final is, it becomes a boulder. Boulder, like very big snow boulder. Initially, the snowball, the person could kick with his boot or shoe. But the boulder is so big, it can crush the person. Like a 6-foot person can be crushed under the snowball. That is called buddhinashat pranashyati. The harmless contemplation, unchecked, there is an unhealthy response, can becomes like a snow boulder and can, become this thing. This is called psychology of delusion. Like how it becomes, the temporary pleasure gives lasting damages and repeated illusion. Like the temporary pleasure, it becomes a lasting damage. Something unhealthy response, then give a repeated illusion. Like and it continues the repeated chain of this thing. Then this is on the other side. SriSriRadhaRasbihariTemple ki jai. SriSriRadhaRasbihariTemple ki jai. Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. So what is the other way? Okay, this negative side, we heard it. Like we can remember the snowball effect of this second chapter Bhagavad-gita shlokas. So what is the positive way of handling this, discomfort? Because discomfort is natural. Like we say, at any point of time we have any Trivida tapas are, creating trouble to us. Adhyatmik, Adidavik and Adbhautik, right? So then let us say, what is the meaning of this word discrimination? Many times the word discrimination is highly discriminated because they think discrimination means white and black, caste discrimination, poor and rich. No, we are not talking about that discrimination. Discrimination is what? It's just a capacity to see clearly and choose wisely. Just give a simple example. Discrimination means somebody is playing kartal for a kirtan. Somebody is offbeat, he is not playing correctly, it is, like tal is missing, some beat is missing. So the in charge will come and say, Are, what is you're playing wrong beat, better, get it right. So this is discrimination, simple as that. It doesn't need to be a very, philosophical in that sense. So then how a mature, the sadhaka, where is the neophyte, we are discussing about neophyte consciousness and the emotional being. So how to come out of this discomfort level is that when you accept the discomfort as something natural, means कोई discomfort होना is something abnormal नहीं है. It's very natural. Like feeling boredom. Sometimes, a sadhakas, they are chanting. After chanting, he doesn't like sometime and then he want to do something else. He feel bored out of some kind of activities of Krishna consciousness. They feel bored. This boredom, why it comes because that is sometimes it is natural. Like something we don't have a higher taste. We have discussed the other shlokas also. Where we do not have a higher taste, we feel bored of doing any Krishna conscious activity. But first of all, to deal with, first understand, okay, it is not something out of the box. Feeling bored or feeling discomfort is natural. But suppose your mind says, no, you should not feel any kind of boredom. Then at any cost we want to handle that. At any cost we want to get rid of our boredom. Then we land up in some kind of activities which are not Krishna conscious. Because we want to somehow or other remove it. That type of boredom from our heart. So there was a research done in America and other places. They took a sample of people who are rich, like means upper rich class, not like very high, but having sufficient money, and they are healthy. They took the average, and then they found out this 100 set, 5% people are happy, sometimes, like 5% time, not a percentage people, 5% time they are happy. Those people, 5% they are happy in their entire life. And 5% time they are unhappy. They are morose or this thing. And 90% time they are bored or different things. They are bored by not having sufficient engagement or whatever. So that's why sadhaka needs to handle this discomfort or being boredom or loneliness actually. So let us see. I was discussing about one of the way we feel discomfort is about loneliness. So when people don't understand, we said about misunderstanding or not understanding, is like causes that loneliness, emotional loneliness. Like if our body has to be healthy, we need oxygen, right? So similarly, for our heart, what is the oxygen? Our heart, like not the physical heart, but actual emotional heart, is the understanding. The people around us are understanding us, then we will feel that that's not suffocated. When you have less oxygen, we feel suffocated because there's no oxygen, we feel suffocated. But when we have people are understanding around us, then we feel happy. I am getting oxygen of emotions, right? So that's why we are trying to discuss what are the alternatives when we feel any kind of emotion which is lonely. That's why we feel sometimes when we have these emotions, now what the natural response is that either we suppress, or we repress, or we vomit. When you have suppress and repress, what happens? When you have a negative emotion with us, when we suppress and repress, body becomes reactive. Now you know that, no? When you store the negative emotion in our body tends to get diseased. Like many problems will come. Like I have one problem. But people get a lot of diseases when we suppress and repress in the body. And when we vomit out, like suppose I am feeling gussa, मैं 2 लोग को devotee को पूरा धो दिया. Then what happens when you vomit it out, that suppressed emotions, then we spoil our relationships. And again it will perpetuate. Again that type of loneliness will increase because I have some devotees and I spoil relation with them. Then become more boredom and more loneliness. So this is the issue. So one of the understanding which I was hearing from our devotees is that just like Gita is saying that tam titishkvasa bharata, whatever emotion we are feeling or discomfort is feeling, that is not permanent. That's not permanent. Just like weather. Sometime till last 1-2 months it was cold. Now summer is starting. That it becomes hot. So nothing is permanent in our life. Everything is changing. The seasons are changing. Our body is changing. Nothing is permanent. Everything is changing here. So that's why we have to convince philosophically that this whatever discomfort I am feeling is not going to be eternal. This is there for today. Not sure till how much time, how long it will be there. So that is one important this thing. So you see the Bhagavad-gita in the 14th chapter in connection to this, that 14.22 and 25 says, Prakashamcha pravrittimcha moham evacha pandava na dveshti sampravirtani na nivrittani kshangshati. What karano? Then he says, Udasinavad udasino gunair vichalyate guna vartanta evi evam yo vyavastita nengate. This is a very interesting shloka in Bhagavad-gita 14th chapter. It gives very example. To make us understand, I will give a very nice analogy. Like you take the game of cricket. In the cricket, you have like players, batsman, bowler, and an umpire. So suppose somebody is bowling, and suddenly the ball hits the batsman pad or anywhere in the body. Then all the teammates start shouting to the umpire. What is it? Out, out, out. Suppose the umpire is there, he is standing there. Like suppose, umpire can say 2 things. Like, I mean to say, out and not out. But generally umpire has, let us say he says the answer. I am not interested in this cricket, so I am not watching it. Suppose he replies that I am not watching the ball only. So how it would be? You imagine the bowler's reaction. Hare, you are standing there and you are not watching the ball. What are you doing here? Then umpire says, I'm not interested in the cricket, I don't like this game. Then why you are here, So similarly, and then that's why there are two words given for this empire. One is called uninterested, another is called disinterested. Uninterested means, anyone knows the meaning? It's English, uninterested, it's not very complicated. Another disinterested. So when the emotions come in our heart, we can have these two type of responses. One is called uninterested. This emotion doesn't exist only. So I don't like the game, just get lost. I don't care for this emotion. Another response is disinterested. That means empire has to be not uninterested, he should be disinterested. Disinterested means he is neutral. He doesn't have an agenda. That even if he is out, I will give not out because I want the batsman party to, the team to win, right? So that is having a kind of agenda. But disinterested means if it is out, he will give out. If it is not out, he will give not out. Similarly, what Krishna is saying is about udasinava dasino. That means Krishna is not saying that you don't negate the emotion or discomfort. No, it doesn't exist. No. You become an observer of your emotions. You become like observer of your emotions. Instead of saying that this doesn't exist, you observe your emotions. What is coming inside. What type of emotion I am feeling. That's why it is said we should become comfortable with being uncomfortable. We become, when it is natural that some kind of discomfort can come in our heart, then we learn to be, okay, discomfort can come in my service, sadhana, my japa, discomfort can come. We should learn to be comfortable. Like I was hearing a story of Param Puja Tamal Krishna Maharaj when he was there in the Juhu. Like construction was going on in the temple. So one day he went to Srila Prabhupada and he asked, Prabhupada, I have so much service, Din Raat, cement bags and iron, this so much steel, so much is coming. I am not getting time to properly chant. I am feeling very much, anxious that, I am not able to get time and, feel chant. Then Prabhupada replied him saying that, yeah, you can try chanting, but the feeling what you have that, I am not able to chant properly, that will purify you. That will purify you, it can, elevate you back to Godhead. So that means Prabhupada is giving that, discomfort is there, but this is a part of the life, it is not that, everything will be pakka, nothing, no problem can be there. Like, so this is very important. Analogy of cricket empire, where we are saying that observe the emotion, don't negate them like a neutral observer. Then the important part is coming, that how to handle this when you get any kind of discomfort, how to actually handle it. So for that we have to make a spiritual anchor. What is it? A type of spiritual anchor. Anchor, what is anchor? What it does? Like if you are, so a lot of waves in the water is coming, if you have anchor, then it remains at the shore. Otherwise it will go sometimes the flood comes, the anchor doesn't work. Because the flow speed is so high, the force will take away the anchor from the bed of the river. Right? That's why for every devotee, he has to make a spiritual anchor in our life. Not one, maybe more than one. When we face with some type of discomfort, or instead of going to the degradation path and a wrong path, like eating more or just sleeping or just surfing something or going lot of waste of time, or creating mechanism how I can take vengeance, this person hurt me, so let me plan out how can I hurt that person. So this is all negative emotions in the sadhaka, a struggling neophyte life. But a positive devotee, he takes the same negative emotions and he channelizes like a discrimination, what I said, and then he comes to the spiritual anchor. Like whatever anchors, some people like kirtans, some people like bhajan, some devotee like shloka recitation, some devotee like deity dressing, deity darshan, and some devotee like preaching. They like to preach. So when there is a negative emotion, the sadhaka, if you want to become mature in our dealings and our don't remain a neophyte, then we should come to our spiritual anchor. And that spiritual anchor should be very easily available. Again, this is another important thing. Generally, it is very easy to say, okay, you should do something positive. But how to do that positive? Like something we are getting distracted. So how to do that positive? So because that particular spiritual anchor should be easily available, like at any point of time. Right? Not that I have to go 20 kilometers to find my anchor, that by that time the distraction will take us away. So that's why like people like, having that in the shloka it is saying, associate with the Madhyamadhikari and Uttamadhikari. Like that is another anchor where we share our heart with the devotees, and guhyamakyati prachati. That will save us from this type of negative responses. As I said, this is called higher engagement. So we are here in this Bhagavatam, in this shloka, they quoted nectar of instruction, text 5, that Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta dikshat tej pranatabis prajantamisham. So the same author, Rupa Goswami, has written one more book. What is that? Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And he has written one more, that is Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is a book of emotions. How to develop a pure devotional emotions. How to develop pure devotional emotions. Though we start at the level of sadhaka, sadhana bhakti, but we have to become spontaneous. Ultimately, our goal is become a bhakta, natural, spontaneous love for Krishna, natural attraction for Krishna. So that's why there is another book called Ujjvala Neelamali. The Ujjvala Neelamali books explains the deep and exalted emotions for love for Krishna. As I said, when you are struggling sadhaka, we are fighting with our negative emotions, negative disturbances. But if you don't know how to handle the basic problem, how can you do a calculus and integral calculus or something? We don't know even basic addition and subtraction. So how can we do a complex problem of developing Ujjvala Neelamali like that? So there is a word in the Ujjvala Neelamali, it's called Uddipana. Uddipana means, anyone knows what is the meaning of Uddipana? Yeah? Uddipana. Yeah, Uddipan. Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu is saying in the hand, so I want to put it in the words. Yeah. Yeah, it is called spiritual stimulus. Just like somebody sees a wine bottle for a drunkard, it is a stimulus, He feels stimulated to drink wine. So for a devotee, we should have a uddipana, that spiritual stimulus. So we should be surround ourselves with the spiritual stimulus, that what we like to do. Like we like to read Bhagavatam with the devotees. We like to share Krishna Katha with some more people, like a preaching engagement. So we should keep ourselves engaged in the positive activities which will keep us away from this negative emotion. Emotions are there. I am not saying negate it. Not there. I don't care for it. No, you accept it. Just like like suppose food is there. You take the food, you eat it, but you don't digest it. What happens? You feel inconstipated. Then constipation is cause of many health problems. Maybe that is one of the root cause of many health issues. Constipation. So similarly, when you take these emotions, you don't digest them. You will become again constipated, because both are body only. It is one is a physical body, and the emotional body is part of the physical body. We are not able to handle emotions. And it is said by scientists say, per day we process 30 to 35,000 thoughts. How many? 30 to 35,000. Can you imagine our speed of mind? That is the speed. It's so many thoughts come, and especially very high at the time of chanting. So chanting 2 घंटा को अलग से number देना पड़ेगा. But for 24 hours, 30,000 thoughts is coming to our mind. And every emotion, every thought is creating emotion. It's not just like Uddipana. Like, thought doesn't come and just leave it. It will give you emotion. Like, it will give you some impetus to do this, that, I have to. That's why people are restless. While chanting, why they get up? Even their leg is not paining, but they get up and walk here and there. Why? Because that mind is not allowing them to sit down. Bhai baito. Bring back the mind. Don't take it outside the temple hall. That's why in some temple there is a rule. When chanting, you have to be in the temple courtyard, or you cannot go out and be with the friend, our mind. So that's why. So we have to bring back that sadhaka neophyte mindedness, again focused, chanting, like how then when this 35,000 thoughts are coming to the mind, so it is creating impressions, which are sometimes very small, some are very big. So that's why a devotee has to become spiritually mature enough to handle these emotions. And sometimes they may create negative connotation. That's why we should become very strong in our own sadhana and our relation with the devotees, and learn to face the reality. Right? I will give a very nice example I was hearing. Like Hiranyakashipu, he had a problem with the fear. Like we say, what is that? Our 4 problems. Bhayam, like, what are the 4 issues we have? Like food, ahar nidra bhayam metan. He had a severe problem with the fear. Fear of death. So he made a plan that how I can avoid death. He said this, I don't have to kill outside, inside, not in the daytime, evening, daytime, nighttime, everything he tried. But when small Prahlad, 5-year-old, he thought I will become like Prahlad, fearless. But Prahlad, when he was teaching about Lord Vishnu, he was becoming fearful. Again he was fearing. He tried all his best means to suppress the emotion of fear, but somehow he came out again. For after 5 years only, not much time. So this is what happens when you try to don't handle the emotion. It will has to come out somewhere, and sometimes we see some devotees very humble, very nicely, Prabhuji, tolerant. One day he breaks out, and then he catches everybody and सबको dose देता है. Senior, junior, doesn't make any difference. Hare, I thought he's very humble devotee. How it became like this? I never expected that such devotee will speak like that. So this is a problem of suppression and repression. At the same time, we should not omit also. Like omitting means, I am gussa ho raha hu, isko upar de deta hu, usko upar de deta hu. So this is also a negative emotion. It's not going to work. So that's where sadhaka, as I said, this Bhagavatam is mentioning about becoming sadhaka to, kanishta to madhyama to uttama. But first of all, we don't know how to handle our own emotions on kanishta adhikari stage. How will you go to madhyama adhikari? We may be preacher. Preacher doesn't mean that he's a madhyama adhikari or uttama adhikari. That is your management position doesn't qualify your advancement. Not that you are becoming a HOD. Oh, earlier is a neophyte, now you become HOD means he is a Madhyama Adhikari. No. Your managerial advancement does nothing to do with your spiritual advancement. They are completely different. So, that's very important that, we should learn to face this thing and don't negate. No, I don't like, this is not there, this is not there. So, rather you should learn to handle them. In a, like I said, uddipana, create spiritual stimulus, discuss with the devotees what problem you are facing. So nowadays, many calls I get. Hare, how some devotees of you became something like that or out of the box? The reason is that they fail to handle that emotions, what is coming in their heart. And then they are now having such a vendetta that to prove that we are right, everybody else is wrong. So their need of belonging, safety is obstructed. And now you see that what havoc they can create. So, and we may say that, we may not become like that. But the idea is that when we don't handle it, we may not become like Hiranyakashipu. But we can become mini Hiranyakashipus, here and there. Small Hiranyakashipus. And we come show our nature of Hiranyakashipu here and there, without noticing, because we don't have power. So that's why people feel that, their need of safety, happiness, belonging, if they don't get in a positive way, then they retort to the negative ways. No, I will make my own empire. I will make my own temple so that people will value me, or they will glorify me, or they will accept me, or I will make my own trust I will make something else, I will make this, I will make, like Hiranyakashipu made his own empire. Everybody should worship him. So that's why a neophyte, if you want to become matured or in your Krishna consciousness, then we will learn to handle them. And that is very important. It's called emotional maturity. So then only we can come from Kanishtadhikari to Madhyamadhikari and ultimately Uttamadhikari. But we keep resentment in our heart and we keep the negative emotions. We become very weak. Though we are, we may get saffron, we may get, some senior designation. We may take shelter of the externals instead of taking the internal. That is the process of Krishna consciousness. We are taking the shelter of something external, but not internal things. So this is very important, I felt, after reading the shlokas, that how a sadhaka, after practice of years and years, still he feels distracted. Still he cannot sit and chant properly. Still he cannot, handle with respect. Kintu adara tanudinam kanujaya vajishta. That, why we are not able to do these things? Because we are failing, just like physical body become crumbled when we don't digest the food. Similarly, our emotional, we are also very weak in our emotional strength. That's why we are finding it difficulty. That's why Krishna is giving this, udasinavat. Gita is saying about, how the person is become neutral observer. Like empire example, analogy we gave. Like how he should not be that I am not watching, I am watching somewhere else. No, I am empire. I should not be attached, but I observe the things, And also we discuss about the pebble analogy. How, small emotion not handled, they become bigger and bigger actually. So this is the substance. I tried something to present. I think it's a very difficult topic. And I myself are learning how to handle my own emotional turmoils. And, instead of diverting into vengeance against someone, better I utilize this energy to progress in Krishna consciousness. Make more and more spiritual anchors, like Uddipana, what our Rupa Goswami, who is our prime Acharya, is speaking in that. Make more and more spiritual Uddipana and become strengthened emotionally. Just like we do yoga, exercise to become physically strong. We should do emotional nurturement so that become emotionally powerful and strong. Don't don't other people decision decide our own reactions. We become unnatural. We try to act, we are not. Sometimes we become artificial, completely artificial. Completely externally, andar kuch aur hai, bahar kuch aur. So better we don't resort to these negative emotions and don't become like Hiranyakashipu, who tried to handle the fear in a wrong way. He could have surrendered the same emotion to Lord Vishnu. You become, amazing Acharya, Hiranyakashipu. He could do such tapasya to handle the fear. But if you utilize the same thing to positively, like Dhruva Maharaj did or Prahlad Maharaj did, see, he could have become another Acharya. But like, the same thing, same energy, So I think we have 2-3 minutes. If anyone has any comments, Hare Krishna. But don't ask difficult questions.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Dhanur Prabhuji. The question I have is, sometimes devotees, by mercifully, take a test of our patience to see whether we are actually devotees or not.
Mm-hmm.
So, how to identify in such instances that, the devotee is taking our test?
Very difficult, because we do not know when the devotee is in trouble and he is taking some kind of revenge or something against you, or he is really well-wisher. So it's not easy. So it depends on that devotee pattern, whether he does it with any other people. Sometimes, this devotee thoda purify karte hai logon ko to test them. Or you yourself went and told, Prabhuji, mujhe thoda mera patience ko badhao, tolerance ko badhao. So if you are requested, he may do it. But I don't know the exact answer for your question.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, can you please give one example of one emotion and how to tackle with a spiritual anchor?
Yeah, I said, one example of emotion, like in every day when we go out, especially you're working, no?
Yeah, no,
So when
student.
Student, if your teacher chastises you, you have a resentment. Why did he chastise me? So the negative way is that, okay, he goes on the bike, let me puncture the bike so that, he will get some, reaction. He will walk on the road because, bike got punctured. Right? So that is the negative way of, taking that, same energy. Rather, if when your teacher chastises you, go back and contemplate, what did he chastise? Is there any element which I can improve in my own heart? It may happen that he said, let us 100 things, out of which only 10 may be true, or 5 may be true. But that he is helping me to progress, right? And you can go and clarify with him next day. With respect, not that, as again attack. Generally what happens, somebody attacks you, you want to attack him. That is a natural response of the human being. But, that's not the way. When you're attacked, okay, so especially like this, respectful, he chastised you. You go back and analyze yourself and then, let me think, what went wrong with me? What can I improve? 5-10%. Maybe out of his 70% is nothing to relate to you. Suppose in his house, somebody chastised him. Like his wife or, like the female teacher, the male wife or something like that, there are vice versa. So he got chastisement, someone, spouse, then that person is coming and chastising you. That could be the problem also, we don't know, So that it's not that everything what he is saying is a fact. It doesn't mean that we negate everything. Okay, whatever he is saying is bogus. I will take a revenge. I am a Dudka Dula, I am best person, That fellow is unnecessarily chastising me. No. So this is a positive energy and clarify the next day. If that teacher is genuine, he may say, no, I was feeling little stressed with something, so sorry, don't take it otherwise. So it is, then your emotional strength increases. You don't succumb to the situation, right? And it happens to authorities also, like in our ISKCON or any spiritual community. You can always have an opportunity to openly go and clarify the shortcomings. Prabhu, you find any shortcomings, where can I improve? Rather saying that, his chastisement he is just envious of me. That's why he is chastising. So that is in a spiritual circle, we can do that, right? Please forgive me, I just spoke something what is practically related to my own consciousness. I am quoting many shlokas from the Gita and everything. But the ideal underlying principle is that, how to apply these shlokas in our own life. Otherwise, just reading like a parrot, decades and decades and remain emotional infant. What is that called? Emotional infant. Infant? They crawl, the infant means they crawl. They can't walk because they don't have the strength. So even if you remain an emotional infant after decades of Krishna consciousness, what is the use? Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.